Have you ever wondered how the dollar symbol came to be? Or perhaps, who was the first person to invent the internal combustion engine? Well, stay tuned as we travel through time and uncover some significant historical events that happened on this very day. On this day, back in the year 1340, Niels Ebbesen ended the interregnum in Denmark by taking the life of Gerhard III of Holstein in his own bedroom. Fast forward to 1663, and we find the town of Gemert imposing a hefty penalty of 50 guilders on unwed motherhood. In 1748, the ruins of Pompeii, buried and forgotten for centuries, were rediscovered by the Spaniard Roque Joaquin de Alcubierre. 30 years later, in 1778, New Orleans businessman Oliver Pollock created the dollar symbol we all recognize today. In the early 19th century, specifically 1792, Groning's feminist Etta Palm demanded women's right to divorce. By 1826, Samuel Morey was issued the first U.S. patent for an internal combustion engine, which he aptly named the gas or vapor engine. The American Civil War era brought the first wartime conscription law in the United States in 1863, followed by the decisive Battle of Five Forks in 1865. Fast forward to the late 19th and early 20th centuries, we see the first dishwashing machine marketed in Chicago in 1889. By 1905, the German government had adopted SOS as a Morse distress signal. In 1924, Adolf Hitler was sentenced to 5 years labor for beer hall putsch, but General Ludendorff was acquitted. 3 years later, in 1927, his master's voice introduced the first automatic record changer. The 1930s were marked by a devastating earthquake in Managua, Nicaragua, that claimed the lives of 2,000 people in 1931. And Clyde Barrow, in 1934, killed 2 young highway patrolmen, turning public perception against his gang for good. The 1940s brought more war and strife. In 1941, the Nazis forbade Jewish access to cafes. In 1945, the Battle of Okinawa saw U.S. ground forces invade Okinawa during World War II in the largest amphibious assault of the Pacific Theater. The 1960 census determined the resident population of the United States to be 179,245,000. By 1973, Japan had lifted restrictions and allowed its citizens to own gold. In 1976, Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs founded Apple Computer in the garage of Jobs' parents' house in Cupertino, California. The 1980s saw world oil prices dip below $10 a barrel in 1986. Each of these events, big or small, has shaped the world as we know it today. From the creation of the dollar symbol to the founding of Apple Computer, these historical moments have left indelible marks on our collective human experience. So, the next time you use a dollar bill or boot up your computer, remember the rich history that led to those moments. The past is always present, influencing our lives in ways we may not even realize.